questions, probably just, try to ask them fairly loudly, since you're over there. We are live. I'm going to be talking about the sugar diet. Just going to wait a little bit to let people come in. It takes a little while for people to pick up that I'm live. We had some technical difficulties there for a moment, but we are getting everything situated. I'm going to talk today about, is the sugar diet right for you, or who is it right for? That's what we'll be discussing today. I got my pen, I got my paper. See all the notes I wrote down? Ready to go. I got some water, and I got some jelly beans. I packed the jelly beans and the Sour Patch Kids together, because when you chew them together, it's like, I don't know, twice the enjoyment, because the jelly bean lasts longer than the Sour Patch Kid. I'm a fat guy. What are you going to do? I'm always going to be fat at heart. New low today, 208 pounds. All right, so here we go. I see that there's some people funneling in, so I'm going to start to blab. New low today of 208. How did I get down to 208? I went from 212 to 210 to 208 over just the last couple of days. I did a 48-hour sugar fast. Now, I'm trying to differentiate between a sugar fast and a sugar diet. A sugar diet would be you trying to do something more sustainable that you can do for a longer period of time. I'm not saying that you can't do a sugar fast for a long period of time, because I do think that would be effective, but it's just more intense and maybe a little bit more annoying. So to me, I'm going to define the sugar diet being this way. And Cole may have different interpretations of this. He and I should probably discuss this just so we're probably on the same page. But to me, the sugar diet would be you're having your sugar in the morning / afternoon. And then in the evening, you're having a very, very lean piece of meat with a starch and with some vegetables, and then discontinue eating for the rest of the night. Or if you wanted to have some more fruit or something like that, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. Your choice of starch could be bread, it could be pasta, it could be rice, it could be potatoes. The cleaner that you keep it, maybe the easier it is to stick to the diet and have some adherence and make sure you're just like not, going way out of your way to like overeat. And really, when it comes to things like pasta is delicious, but as Russell Buddy said, the greatest thing about pasta is what you put on it, right? And that sometimes that's the case with bread too. So if you're not going to just put like salt or honey on your bread or jam or something like that, then maybe you shouldn't cook up the bread. Because if you cook up the bread, you're probably going to want butter. And butter and fat and stuff like that are not for this diet. So that's the basics of the sugar diet. What I recommend to people when they have their lean meat and when they have their starch on those days, to have your protein be modest. I think half your body weight in grams of protein is a good place to start. The research shows even lower amounts of protein to be just fine. So half of your lean body mass is what some people have reported. And like, that's, for me, that would be like, 60 or 80 grams of protein, maybe even less. Anyway, it just depends on what you're trying to do. For myself, I keep my protein at or under 100. My fats are 30 or below. I made up the number 30 just because I thought it was like a reasonable amount of fat to get in if I wanted to do this diet for multiple days and not have negative effects. I see a bunch of questions are coming in. I appreciate the questions. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you make people more aware of this YouTube channel because it's blowing up. It's on fire. We're going to get to the questions in just a little bit. I got my boy, Andrew Z. We dusted him off. He is out of retirement, and he is back in the house here today. We're going to be interviewing Mitchell Hooper later today, World's Strongest Man champion, Arnold Classic champion, and just can't wait to get an opportunity to interview him a little bit later on today. As far as sugar fasting, I will explain that. Sugar fasting is you're primarily, I should say actually, even in the sugar diet, when I said that, your morning is mainly sugars, let me just tell you what those sugars are. It's coming from fruit juice, sugar, honey, maple syrup, vegetables. That's what you're trying to like have most of your day be. And then later on in the day, you might have that lean piece of meat and that starch that I mentioned earlier. The sugar diet is you literally just running off of the sugar all day. I did forget to include candy. Candy is part of it. You can have some candy. I got a little bag of candy right here. I don't encourage that you only eat candy because then you're going to be like nutrient deficient. And that's just not a great place to be. Some people might think that this diet is nutrient deficient, but I can assure you that it's not. There's a lot of people have done diets like this in the past, and we have to keep in mind one of the biggest problems that we have here in America is just people being fat. People are too fat, under-muscled and too fat. So yeah, it'd be great if people had more muscle, if they trained a little bit more and stuff like that, but we can't seem to get everyone to do that. And trying to encourage everyone to move and walk and count their calories and stuff just seems like a burden. This diet seems like a godsend for that. And people are reporting very fast weight loss. Weight loss, especially when you're eating fruit and vegetables, is always going to be a safe endeavor. So people are wondering, like, is it safe? They have all these concerns about it. And it's smart to have concerns about it because you should be concerned whenever it comes to your health, and you should have questions. But there's really nothing to worry about because what's going to happen is you're going to be burning body fat. Body fat from your body is similar to dietary fat that you eat. So you don't need to have 20 fish oil capsules when you're 40 pounds overweight. And when you got your calories locked in, or just not even your calories, more so your carbs. If your carbs are locked in, your fats are low, and your protein is modest, you're going to be burning fat. The fat's not coming off your body and magically turning into like omega-3s or anything like that, but it's good enough for what we're trying to do, and that's just to annihilate the fat off of your body. The sugar diet, or the sugar fasting, is candy, sugar, honey, fruit juice, maple syrup, and just put that shit on repeat. I actually took some jarred peaches this morning, threw them in a bowl, threw some blueberries, banana. I took some pictures on my Instagram, and or for my Instagram. There was a bunch of other fruit in there, just a pile of fruit. I took sugar, straight sugar, just regular sugar you buy at any old store, turned that bitch upside down, dumped some sugar on it, and then took some honey, dumped some honey on it. It was awesome, absolutely awesome. Went out in the sun with my dogs and just chilled out there for a little bit, eating that before I came to the studio here today. And then I met up with some friends and got in some decent amount of lifting for today. And I'll probably lift later this evening. Energy is through the roof, and I hit an all-time low, and my body weight weighed 208 this morning. I'll be 200 pounds probably almost before the end of this month. I'll have at least seen 203, 201, 200 maybe even by the end of this month with the rate that I'm losing weight. Weight's coming off fast, but it's not just me. People think it's just meatheads and just dudes that are on a bunch of steroids and stuff like that are getting benefits from this, or people that are jacked or in shape or whatever, because Cole Robinson, Durian Ryder, and myself are kind of the lead on this diet. We have the most subscribers and most people paying attention to us and the most access to other high-level people. So that's where people are getting the message from. And, there's been Mark Lobliner and a bunch of other people, Thomas DeLauer, along with Mike Dolce, who said, look, the sugar diet's dumb. I don't get it. They don't understand what I'm trying to do. Thomas had a little bit more context because he looked into it a little bit more. But basically, people don't know what happens when you do this diet. You want to know why? Because it really hasn't been locked in quite like this before. And we have Cole Robinson to thank for that. Cole has locked this in and figured out a way to package this thing up in a deliverable message. Because the movie Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, the documentary, you might want to go back and watch it. It's kind of interesting. That guy was talking about like buying a bunch of produce from the store every day, having fresh this, organic that, and all this kind of stuff. And it's a message that's hard for people to follow. I want people to be able to go to the store and buy like canned peaches. It costs like 99 cents. I want people to be able to, buy canned tomatoes and just stuff that's very inexpensive that you can just gulp down that still tastes pretty good, that you can get full, but also get great energy from. This diet is very inexpensive too. That's another